Everybody knows that post To Boldly Flee, the third movie, which who knows, maybe we'll love that too. It's 4 fucking hours.
I mean, everything's out the window at this point.
History of Power Rangers has no set schedule.
Like, when we talk about the other two, it's not going to be this. We're not going to have, like, anything nice things to say about those in particular.
All right, I hope you gentlemen are strapped in for a long, difficult conversation.
I'm a distraction, a pure satisfaction. Keep your eyes on me for what you're gonna see. We'll redefine the height of attraction. I'm a distraction, ready for action. So the world's gonna blow, stop complaining and go to the show.
Hello again. Guys, I think something's coming.
We're going to be talking about this DVD. Now, for people who watched our Kick-Assia review and our Suburban Night review, what do we remember? That the DVDs cost oodles.
Hundreds of dollars, right?
Hundreds. But not To Boldly Flee. To Boldly Flee cost $19. Something like that. Directly on their website.
So you can buy it at this moment?
Yeah, that's where it came from, the Channel Awesome headquarters.
Do you think Rob stuffed it into a mailer for you?
He's all sarcastic about it. As one of the executives of this company.
You know, I'm an executive in this company, so I'm like, okay, explain. Like, I'm willing to hear her out.
It all started when Jason said, I love Kick-Assia. Let's do Kick-Assia.
I do. I still do.
Then we had to do Suburban Nights. I've been on something of a ride with these movies. Scotty has been on something of a ride. He's been making videos about them too. Scotty started, he was totally raw dogging it. Or raw dugging it. I went in to Kick-Assia being like, yeah, I liked the Nostalgia Critic at a point in time, but these movies, these fucking people, I don't know about this. Jason, you're going to come to my house in Massachusetts and watch this with me. And we had to edit that video. We had to, really work through Kick-Assia. And I admit I was turned around. I was asking questions like, is this really a movie? And I had a leading answer, which was no.
Well, I always thought that was a stupid line of questioning. Just like, why wouldn't it be?
One of my many L takes. So then Suburban Nights comes around. My first real exposure to it was Scotty's video, where Scotty was kind of into it, and I didn't know what to make of that. Then I watched it, and I was kind of laughing throughout, right? She dropped her contact lens.
Her contact lens, Mati. She lost her contact lens.
Oh, geez, that's terrible.
It was a decent enough time, and I thought by that point it was going to be green screen, and it wasn't. It's all outside. To its detriment, it was all outside. But what were we told? We were told, assuredly, constantly, To Boldly Flee is where it all falls apart. Not only is the movie abysmal, and they take these weird shortcuts, and it's 3 hours and 20 fucking minutes. I mean, that's really the headline here.
There's a discrepancy here because you watched it on DVD and we watched it on YouTube. There's a 3-minute difference. It's 3:28 on YouTube and it's 3:31 on the DVD.
What the flying You know what? Fine. Doesn't matter. I get top billing anyway. Yeah.
This DVD has quite a few special features on it. It's got the hour and 10-minute making of, which I think we've all seen. We're not going to discuss demo reel. We're not going to discuss hot quiz pop shot. And we're not going to, did I get that right? Hot quiz.
Yeah.
Pop quiz hot shot. So we're not going to talk about any of that kind of, I don't know, the falling action of To Boldly Flee. But what we will talk about is some of the things that people have been asking us to talk about, namely Spoony, JewWario, and the Not So Awesome document. Jason is here with fresh data about the Not So Awesome document. But primarily, we're going to be focused on this movie. And that brings me to, I asked, are these really movies? My logic was, well, they're kind of more like series. It's kind of on the web. It's kind of made for nothing. They're lore movies. They don't stand alone. These were the things against it. I get to Boldly Flee and I go, not only are these movies, they're the most movies. They might. It's Levi's. He made this statement. I will echo it. They might not be the best movies, but they're the most movies. 3 hours and 20 minutes, 6 shooting days.
That's actually kind of impressive.
It very. Really, 6?
Yeah, with 2 reshoot days apparently.
The problem is it's still a 3-hour movie shot in 6 days. And that's not going to move smoothly. I thought it would. I thought it would move more smoothly, but it's just the time. It's just, if you want it to look more professional, which we did, and we want all the stuff on there, it's still going to eat up time.
In the commentaries, Doug does specify that some things were shot in other days. Like, when it's just him and one other person, they did a lot of that. Not in those 6 days, like when it's him and Lindsay. Spoony, he said it wasn't just those days. So, like, they got other stuff in other days. But, like, when they had everybody together, it was just, it was 6 days. They said they were up till 2, 3 in the morning every night shooting that shit, too.
It definitely makes sense. What kind of shocks me is that each of these movies definitely has distinct color temperature, like a distinct feeling and vibe. Like, so you got Kick-Assia, it's yellow, dusty, there's dust on the lens, there's lens flares, standard definition. You have Suburban Nights, which is a cool, overcast, gray colors. And then you have this one, which is like underexposed blue colors.
So blue.
The fastest I've shot a feature film was in 9 days for Having Fun Up There 2013. And I was completely fucking dead. And that movie's an hour. This movie's 3 hours and 20 minutes. And this movie, much like the last two, there's a billion cuts. In fact, I almost want to, Premiere does that thing where it will identify every cut so we could actually see just how many setups are across this entire thing. Regardless of what you think. And obviously it's overlong. Obviously, and we're going to talk about its weaknesses, I think, at length. But does this not insist on your admiration on some? This is a fucking effort. And this guy was putting out 3 weekly series. And he's like, well, the reason I wanted to do it in 6 days was I really didn't have time to do it any other way. And I just thought I would just cram it into 6 days.
The only way to make these productions more comfortable in the shooting of it is to devote even more time to it. Now, for those who don't know, I'm already doing 3 shows a week, going to cons, and just got married, and trying to do, about 6 jobs on here that one person alone would probably find difficult. So,
and then he's like, and I quit doing anniversary movies after this because really it's not fair to everybody to cram it in like that, so I'll just stop doing that altogether.
And that's one of the reasons I'm backing out of doing these big ones again, because it's hard watching the people go through that, and just God bless them, they work so hard.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to, doesn't it? And because, first of all, I jammed in this behind the scenes before I came on here, okay? So I had to. I knew I had to. I wonder if he could sense the end was near, though. Lindsay looks so pissed in this behind the scenes. She couldn't hide it. If you cover her mouth, you could see like her eyes, the anger. It was amazing.
The only thing she's missing is the little Dan Olsen on her side, giggling with her about how shitty Doug is.
I'm not going to name any names here.
I've caught a little bit of shit on the internet about like, hey, why do you grant Doug so much grace? And why do you give it up for him? And you've been so critical of James.
They probably just haven't logically thought it through.
Which kind of almost is like, I love Doug and I hate James or something, which is just simply not the case.
Right.
But it comes down to passion, right? I mean, I find Doug's passion appealing. You see it in all 3 of these fucking things. You see it in every episode of Nostalgia Critic. You don't see it slow down.
James made the one feature-length one, and somehow Doug and the team cranked these out. And like to your point, Frankie, about like you have to have some admiration. Although, yes, it was so super long. Man, even the music, like, I was like, whoa, who did the music? Yeah. Who did the CGI? Who did the practical effects? I was like, I know they were very internet, but it was still like, oh, that's charming.
If you know what goes into even something that doesn't look great, if you have that much of it, and also, like, the timing and everything else, you're like, yeah, this is a filmmaker. There's a guy, Quentin Reviews. You ever heard of him? He was sexually harassed by a young woman named Flower Gothic.
Legal name.
Fine, we'll talk about Quentin Reviews.
Fine, I'll make an actual video talking about my experiences with Quentin Reviews.
I became aware of Quentin Reviews because he made a video shitting on To Boldly Flee and Doug in general, right after he was very much an opportunist after the Not So Awesome document. And he was like, I swear to God, he says this in his video. After the Not So Awesome document thing happened, I was not well. I was extremely upset to the point that people had to come to the house and check on me and say, you shouldn't be alone right now. I should bring you outside. He says this in the video shamelessly.
I was really broken by the whole affair. I became physically unwell because of just how upset it all made me. And it got to the point that, like, my friends would, like, come to the house and would would drag me out and be like, okay, we're taking you to lunch. You shouldn't be alone right now.
He thinks it's okay to be that upset about Channel Awesome.
And I think a big part of it was that the Channel Awesome situation made me have, like, a full-on identity crisis.
Of course!
But then he goes on, he's like, whenever anybody thinks the name Doug Walker, they always think one of the most famous film critics on the internet. I want to change that. When you think of Doug Walker, I want you to think worst filmmaker of all time. And I'm like, not today, Flower Gothic. Not today. He's a good filmmaker, and I'm going to prove it.
This little voice kept whispering a thought into my ear, one that made me smile no matter what, and I just felt the need to bring it to light. When you hear that name, I believe you should think Doug Walker, the worst filmmaker of all time.
Even this, I did not really enjoy this as much as the other two, but I think even this is infinitely more watchable than the AVGN movie. Infinitely.
Yeah, the AVGN is 2 hours, and so you're almost doing 2 AVGNs when you watch one of these things.
I don't agree. Give me AVGN over this. AVGN movie's not good, and I don't like being in a position to defend it, but, like, I'll watch it and not be bored and not have to finish it over multiple nights.
But did you laugh at all? Like, let me ask you guys something. Did chuckles occur during this for you?
Yeah.
One or two, maybe.
Same.
Look, I actually loved a lot of things about the movie. People are going to think I'm such a dummy, but there was. I did watch it in pieces. I didn't like snort it like you all did. Apparently,
I watched it over 2 nights, and I kind of resented it. I was like, "This is how I'm using my free time." God damn it!
I know it's hard. It's hard, but it's going to be worth it. But this really was their Crisis on Infinite Earth.
Many reviewers built up to this event. This was their Crisis on Infinite Earths.
The Linkara plot lines and shit were leading into this. Things that had happened on Nostalgia Critic were leading into this. And of course, there were 2 movies before that. People often say they're like, you can't enjoy one of these movies if you don't know everybody. And that's true. I struggled with Kick-Assia the first time because I didn't really know everybody.
Yeah.
By this one, I kind of know everybody. And so I'm a little bit more, Suburban Nights, I had a leg up too. I think there's a principle in filmmaking. I wish there was a term for it or something. But I believe that the audience will calibrate its expectations with what you're serving. As long as you're serving something consistent. Like, this is what the thing is, and this is the language of this movie, they'll accept it.
You don't think there were too many characters? Because in each one, they add more and more people, and this one has the most. They say in the commentaries that there's 30 creators.
I'm not going to lie, I did not want 30 producers. And it has nothing to do with not liking the producers. I love all of our producers. They're a ton of fun. But I wanted to write this like a real movie, and I'm like, you can only have 15 characters tops.
I thought the writing in this was not terrible, in as much as almost every character that has any kind of material screen time has some character motivation, and it's balanced with others. And I actually thought he did a pretty good job balancing everybody's time and moving towards the end of the movie. So even though it's 3 hours and 20 minutes, you are oscillating between like, oh, okay, this group. Oh, okay, this group. I think the Star Wars parody I could do without. Like,
that's half the movie. That's half the runtime of the movie is them just doing Star Wars.
Fair enough. Yeah. And, I think just literally doing and it's a lot of Rob Walker, and I'm not a fan.
A key Doug-Rob tug of war was how many people they were going to involve. Doug was fighting for more, Rob was fighting for less. Also, Rob wrote this movie. Rob says at the very beginning, he's like, I don't know why I didn't get head credit. I wrote the first, 3 drafts, and then only Doug came in then, which was the opposite of Suburban Nights, because he says he doesn't like Suburban Nights because he didn't feel like he had a lot of creative control, and that this one came out better because he does.
Oh, that's why I like Suburban Nights better.
Yeah, exactly.
Doug and I worked on Suburban Nights, and it was kind of a disaster. I did not have a fun time working on it. What happened was I gave Doug all of these ideas, very few of which he used, and then he kind of handed me this finished draft. I mean, that's the thing. I didn't really have much of a say in Suburban Nights. I came up to him and I was like, I think I got this. I think this time I can write the first draft.
and you do what I did on Suburban Nights, which then you try to fix it.
For the record, Suburban Nights is my favorite of the three. Just to be nice and clear.
The high point.
You know, I think it's the sweet spot of what this thing can be. But the lead credit was based on a concept by Rob Walker. That's what I saw for a writing credit.
And he complained about it.
I was like, I wrote the script beginning to end. How did you get top writing credit for this?
Man, the Rob ego, like in that making of, when he just the way, like his humor and everything. Like, I'm like, this guy is so fucking unappealing.
Such an asshole.
Guess what he talks about the most in the commentary? I swear he spends like a third of the commentary glazing himself over how good a job he did with the color correction.
Hello, I'm Rob Walker. I was the head writer for this movie. Post-digital lighting effects, a little bit of color correction, and we color corrected it. This was actually one of the first color corrections I did. And we had to insert the scenes back in there or color correct them or fix things. Some of those color corrections weren't done initially. So the problem is, like, this whole scene is color corrected. Doug had trouble exporting, so I couldn't get into any of the color correction until the day of the release. It's not our best color correction job. Jim and I were color correcting. That scene where Allison was punching Lindsay was so poorly color corrected, and for this scene I actually did adjust some of the color correction so it's a little more of a blue tinge. Hardest scene to color correct. This scene I had trouble color correcting. I couldn't figure out how to stop his lips from glowing red. Yeah, now the color gets nasty. Color correction was all really off. It was too dark on the left-hand screens. Honestly, my favorite color correction is in this room when I add the blue to it. Really pops and looks good. It was color corrected just a little bit. People were wondering, is this the plot hole? What's with the color correction? We may just color correct the whole thing and just turn it into one big dusk, even if it doesn't look quite right.
It felt like it was underexposed and blue and crunchy the whole time. Like you saw like all the noise.
Doug was like, this time around, I really wanted it to look a little bit more professional, which I think we achieved. I'm like, all right. So there is some cognitive dissonance here because I watch a Doug Walker movie and I think this. There are things that the guy cares about, and there are things that he doesn't care about. Let's take inventory of what those things are. I don't think he cares whether or not he gets a good performance out of an actor.
Oh, that's for sure.
However, he needs a properly timed performance.
That's Grand Admiral Phalis, and the answer to your question is...
It can be bad, but it can't be slow.
Oh boy, I'm excited. Are you excited? I'm excited. Excited!
It can be bad, but you gotta yell the right word. It doesn't need a good camera or good colors. Apparently, he thinks he has both.
Whenever we were under attack, Doug would shake the camera.
But it does need the right rhythm, pacing, and composition. Like, he'll want to do a dolly shot, or he'll want to do a trucking shot, or he'll want to do an aerial shot, and he'll get it. But he'll do it with his hands. He's not going to go get a dolly.
They made a track so that we could move the camera back and forth. And they named it after me and actually autographed it and gave it to me, which was pretty awesome.
Another note from the commentary. What do you do when you're in trouble? You get help, right?
You get help.
He got help with the camera work in this one. It's not just Rob or him holding it every
There's four of them. He doesn't need well-recorded sound, but he does need comically designed sound.
It may be Mickey.
Or he needs sound design that complements the edit. And then what I'll say above all, without qualification, is he cares very much about editing. This is a very carefully edited movie. People will say it's bad editing because it's 3 hours and 20 minutes, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the overall piece. I'm talking about moment to moment, scene to scene. There's a few moments that really pop. It makes me wonder, like, what would happen if you gave Doug Walker, and if you could maybe push Rob Walker out of the picture entirely, what would happen if you gave Doug Walker $350,000? What would you get? Would you just get this?
Yeah, he'd be like, Dolly, what do we need that for?
Coffee, what do we need that for? You know the famous Kick-Assia moment with Lindsay says there was no catering and Doug was very rude.
How were craft services on those sets?
Yeah.
And Spoony said, well, really, it's standard to provide craft services, and Dan Olson snickered. I had never seen it before, but somebody else was rolling camera on that moment. And I saw it recently in some dude's video about Lindsay.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, whoa, this is the moment. This is the moment it's in the Not So Awesome document. And it goes something like this. Doug is explaining to everybody how the day's going to go. He's trying to communicate clearly. It's one of those kind of Doug speech in the hotel moments. You know, she's all sleepy looking. And she goes, coffee? Coffee? And he was like, I don't think there'll be coffee. We could maybe afterward. And she's like, no, coffee? Coffee? She just keeps doing that. And then he goes, in a rare moment where Doug gets pissed off, it's awesome. He goes, what are you asking?
Lindsay.
Coffee?
Will there be coffee?
Instant coffee?
We'll see about that. I don't think they're going to want coffee, trust me, because it's going to make you dehydrated.
No, but coffee.
Good. As in at the place. I would advise getting coffee at breakfast myself.
Coffee at the
No, like, well, I don't know. I've never.
Can you formulate a proper question?
What are you about?
And Spoony's like, well, I think she's trying to say that like craft services are standard on most films.
She's referring more to a craft services table where there's a coffee machine.
That's the moment she thought, I ought to put this in a document.
Yeah.
Doc.google.com. I'm writing this down.
And then I said coffee. And then he didn't take it seriously.
What are you about?
Okay, let's talk about this movie. We start off with the death of Ma T from Captain Planet, zooming into the middle distance, giving us a haunting reminder of the haunting ending of Suburban Nights.
Affected us all.
And I would say that the first hour of this thing is kind of like suspenseful, foreboding. It very much reminded me of Independence Day when the mothership is just slowly floating over the entire world. You get to know where all the characters are one by one. It takes a while. That's what he was going for. It's Crisis on Infinite Earth. And then there's these epic titles. I always love the Channel Awesome epic titles. And that's when you start to get disappointed about, written by Rob Walker. Yeah, so there was a guy named Ed who was the cinematographer. And did you guys read in the Not So Awesome document that the Ed vows to never work with this team ever again because he got in a 10-minute argument with them about the 180-degree rule?
Oh, right. Doug actually brings this up in his commentary.
Really?
Yeah. He's like, well, some people, I just have a really hard time acting and keeping track of the 180 rule.
Things like the 180 rule, I believe, are very important, and you should keep it going. But it's hard for me to comprehend where the camera should go. I always try to visualize that line you're not supposed to cross.
Doug, stop giving a fuck. It's not that kind of movie. It's okay if we become a little disoriented in the middle of this thing.
Since when did he? I mean, look. I think don't worry about that shit, Doug. Because that's when these movies become monotonous, when they're trying hard. I made a thesis about this on Suburban Nights. Everything fell apart, and therefore you got a high point in the series. This one, boy, they came prepared. I wonder how big that script was. You know what I mean?
384 pages.
So I actually gave him, I think it was something like a 380-page script.
384 pages?
Yeah, 6 months to write it. They took the whole screenwriting thing really seriously. Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's my guess that after Suburban Nights, they were like, I'm doing this one more time and never again, so let's go big or go home. Yeah. And probably by that point, they were like, look, our audience is in the bag for this shit. Let's really do it. Let's make it 3.5 hours. Fuck it.
They have basically one location in the basement or in the ship. The wood panel, it kind of looks like your basement with the wood paneling.
Yeah, it looks like this. It's clear that they shot indoors to avoid the Suburban Nights problem. They overcorrected for the Suburban Nights problem. What I'm so impressed by, though, is, I don't know about you guys, but with the amount of camera motion and the editing and the sound design and all the rest of it, those dumpy houses in suburbia felt to me like classified government buildings and spaceships. They felt big. Zod and Terrell, on their mothership when they're really in a fucking living room. I love that stuff.
Well, then they make a joke about it where it's like they turn their own ship into a house. It's like,
what are your men to transform this vessel into a house?
Hey, what?
Yeah.
They justify it in the story.
Yeah, they're putting together the chair and putting the buttons on and coloring it and all that stuff. That was kind of cozy.
Yeah, I liked Paw, being one of the first people. He's listening to headphones and he sees it. He sees the plot hole. That's our way. It's a minor character who kind of first catches wind of what's happening. I like that kind of thing.
They wanted to make up for not really using him in the other two because he was in both Kick-Assia and Suburban Nights, but he was the smallest part in both of those.
Right.
So they're just giving him more here.
It's actually a good way to use him.
Hey everybody, Paul here. I figure as long as we're going to the outskirts of the universe to fight evil who might possibly destroy all of humanity, I might as well do a vlog about it.
I didn't like Paw Vision.
No, that was stupid. Why the fuck they do Paw Vision? They're repeating the spot from Kick-Assia with the reporter, but it's way worse here. It makes less sense and brings the movie to equally as much of a stop, but like this is already a really slow, come on, get to the point movie. So when it stops to do that bullshit, it's like, no.
I agree. I do agree. Did you know that the guy who plays Lame Prick, is that his name? You know, because there's some there's political satire in this around SOPA. Do you guys remember? Is everybody old enough to remember SOPA? Yeah, there was a big thing, around 2012 or so. That was like there was legislation that was trying to get passed that would make penalties for copyright infringement harder and would make it easier for copyright holders to go after. The argument was it would have decayed the rights that you have around things like parody and fair use. And so Doug was doing Where's the Fair Use?
I'm the nostalgia critic. Where's the fair use?
They were part of what many were doing at the time is like a website blackout. So if you were like a high traffic website, you were obligated to do a blackout. I'm not going to serve my Linkara's comic reviews today, but that law did not pass. So I hear it was defeated because it was just extremely unpopular. But in this, they had like the SOPA law.
When they passed the SOPA bill,
Which never goes anywhere. They just like talk about it a bunch.
Yeah, in fact, the guy who plays Lame Prick, right, this Hollywood guy, he stops being in the movie at some point, and it becomes all Rob Walker as the Emperor.
Well, it's implied that Mickey killed him.
That was the last thing Prick's head said before shoved in a weed whacker.
The villains are a fucking mess in this. There's like 6 of them, and none of them do anything.
It's true. But that guy, Lame Prick, did the VFX. So the houses and the CG and the Death Star, it looks like a bomb. That's all that dude.
The 3D effects, my team, we had a modeler who modeled and textured, each ship individually. And then we would pass that off, these assets off to other members of the team that would animate each scene, and we would do that on a shot-by-shot basis. There were some more complicated shots, like the death bomb exploding, which took a long time to rig and a long time to get the lighting just right and the explosions just right.
Lame Prick's the guy who calls Mickey short.
Oh, someone insecure about his height? Perhaps I should get you a booster seat and a Happy Meal.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
And Malachi is his intern.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And I think Malachi was doing the voice of Mati in the Black Hole.
No, it was Doug and Rob. They say this in the commentaries. They both bring it up.
Most of Mati is Rob, some of it is me.
The Mati voices is Doug and I at different times. It just depends.
So wait, okay. Yeah, Gina and I, my wife, we were wondering, I was like, that's definitely not Mati. Okay. That's definitely not Bargov.
It was Doug Walker doing a voice.
Is it Doug or Rob?
They both say in different sentences, it's whatever can do the impression better.
It's like asking who played Michelle in Full House. It's both.
You got it, dude.
They're basically voice twins at some point.
Yeah.
Like if you hear Rob, sometimes you're just like, ooh.
According to Rob, they had to basically rewrite, or he had to basically rewrite a whole bunch of this movie because they planned on Bargov being in it, and he quote begged Bargov to come back even though he left the company just to be in this movie, and he refused.
He's like, I'm sorry, Robert. I need to move off to brighter and better things in the future. And yeah, he wouldn't do it. I practically begged.
They had to write around him not existing, even though the premise of the movie is them fucking looking for him. So
That's crazy.
They can't find him. Yeah, I know. So they wrote it to be they're talking to like a JPEG now with Doug doing a stupid voice.
It reminds me of Back to the Future 2 when they had George McFly up on the ceiling, just kind of they should have had Mati up on the ceiling.
Yeah, just turn him upside down,
Yeah.
In Twin Peaks season 3, David Bowie died, so they changed his character into a tea kettle.
Did you call me 5 days ago?
I don't have your number.
Yeah. And the midget wouldn't come back, so they turned him into a tree.
But it made sense because it's David Lynch.
I can turn anyone I want into a tree.
Get real.
I do, yeah. Look, I admit that this screenplay is a lot more wordy. People are talking in this thing.
Oh my god!
You're gonna be listening to a lot. Yeah, so maybe that's what you don't like so much, Jason. Is all the chit chat.
You might do, boy. If you like people talking, talk and then cut to other guy talking, we've got another Channel Awesome movie that we're working up towards. That's straight up your alley.
Linkara.
Yeah, the Linkara one is just people fucking talking for like however long it is until the last 10 minutes.
You'll hear me talk the entire time.
Exactly. You know he plays multiple characters too. You know he's playing like 4 characters in that fucking thing too. He's pulling a Doug, and he can't do it as well as Doug. And Doug doesn't even do it that well in this, I'd argue. But
well, I love Doug in multiple roles though. For my money, if a little too much time goes without me seeing Doug, I'm a little upset. And, spoilers, Bimmy shows up at the end of this movie. James Rolfe shows up at the end of this movie. By the way, Doug said in his commentary that James was driving back from shooting the AVGN movie from across the country, and he stopped in to do his role in To Boldly Flee.
He was actually driving back from shooting his movie.
And he said he looked like he had just been through a war. And he said that James almost said no because the thought of shooting another thing was freaking him out.
I think the idea of filming something else right after that sort of freaked him out. But when he saw just how quick it was and easy it was, I mean, he was sort of like, oh, okay, well, that's nice. That's good.
But then he found out how easy it was. And all he'd have to do is stand in a corner of an awkward house. And so he did it.
And then he did that for the rest of his career.
And that's where he is to this day, in the corner of a
Standing
room,
in the corner.
That's where he got it from.
shooting something easy.
As long as it's easy, I'll do it.
He saw how Doug Walker was doing this, and they're like, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing now.
Ah, yeah, that aroma of milk chocolate, and it triggers those memories.
When I saw the two of them together and James making a big appearance in this movie and in all 3 of the movies, I'm sitting there thinking like, Doug Walker obviously should have been a major character in the AVGN movie. It would have given that movie a lot of juice. Like just right there, if the nostalgia critic, even if it was for one scene or a few scenes, and he doesn't have to be there for the denouement, like just maybe just in the second act we get a big nostalgia critic moment or something. I think Doug's a star.
You know what could happen still to this day to get James Rolfe back? If we had Doug directing, because that's the thing.
God.
If we have him directing a crossover event movie, okay, you could have something special. Take the pressure off of Bimmy. Maybe he'll show up and do it. There, you know what I mean? I think there's something there.
Yeah, I think maybe if like you could cut Justin open and put him in like a tauntaun, and then he could show up, and then he'd be nice and warm between takes, or I don't know. Yeah, again, there's more dramatic film language in this in general. The movie wants to be more of a movie even than the last 2, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think that there's like this moment where Linkara is first revealed, where if you've ever seen like a big event movie, like an Avengers or something like that, when they reveal like one of the major one of the major 20 characters, it's always in like a slightly dramatic fashion, but they got to keep it moving. So there's this shot, it's like Linkara on the couch, and they're just like trucking in, like, oh yeah, there's Linkara, and you just know Linkara's just loving it. He's like, oh, I really like being part of this. These people love being in these movies. We'll talk about that too later. Yeah, Rob Walker is the Emperor. No, thank you. Including like when he's the suit, that's even worse somehow.
I don't want to see Rob Walker at all. Yeah, because he's doing the Palpatine voice and the Senator Palpatine. There's a couple scenes in this where they just do the whole scene. Yeah, from Revenge of the Sith, and they do a whole scene from Ghostbusters where they're talking about instead of the Twinkie, they're talking about a wiener, and it goes on forever. And they do the whole bit from Ghostbusters, but it's in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, and it makes me, some of this movie is just of the quality of an epic or a date movie. The sort of like we made the references, the joke. I think it's still 15% better than that. I mean, you ever watch like epic movie or something? It's just Johnny Depp's pirate shows up and breakdances or something, or Borat shows up in a G-string and is like, nice. That's it.
He's nice. It's definitely better than that.
Yeah, it's a little, maybe just a little bit better.
And they incorporate the characters a little bit better, but they'll do the whole Ghostbusters bit, and you're like, okay, that's from Ghostbusters. You did it. Thank you.
Yeah, one of the first moments we're introduced to is Terrell from Battlefield Earth, the John Travolta character, depicted by Spoony, who had been in a Nostalgia Critic review about it, is suing the critic, wants to get back at the critic for blowing up his home planet back in their review. So that's like a major plot thread here. And eventually he teams up with General Zod from the Superman films, and that's also played by Doug. There's just a whole lot of like, it's this movie, it's that movie, right?
I think that's the worst Doug anything he's ever been on camera. I am so off-put by his Zod in this. It's so...
The voice. The voice was, I was like, what's that all about? That's not Zod.
Yeah. Nonsense. It can be accomplished in a simple George Lucas-style wipe. Observe.
Wow! That was amazing!
Indeed.
I especially like the plant in the corner.
Yes, it really ties the room together.
Doing the voice. Yeah, he's doing that thing.
He does look like physically like a bit like Zod, like because his balding head and goatee. I think that's what he's going for. But yeah, the voice is nothing. Like
I am General Zod.
One of the things that crossed my mind while watching the movie, admiration and all. Are we looking at a little bit of the Peter principle of filmmaking here? Have these guys promoted themselves to their level of incompetence? Have they bitten off more than they can chew? I think Jason thinks absolutely.
So much of the shit just goes nowhere and means nothing. Like I already said, the villain, like no villain in this has any effect on anything at all ever. Except for maybe at the beginning where Nostalgia Critic gets put under house arrest because Spoony bitched, whatever he's supposed to be. It also doesn't help that I don't know who any of these fucking people are. I've never seen the Superman movies. I don't know who Zod is. I only know of this because they talk about Zod in the commentary. That's like literally the only reason I know the name.
Zod was in his socks.
I just know that I see that character and he does nothing. He's not funny. It's just Doug doing a bad voice.
After completing the parts on page 1, you'll next want to move on. God!
Some of us watched the Nostalgia Critic because we liked movies and we wanted to see somebody review them. I like that you're like, I like the guy who reviews the movies. I don't know what a movie is really.
I used to watch a lot of movies. I mean, I wasn't watching like superhero movies though. Like that, I don't know. It seemed like a waste of time.
But Superman 2 is like an American institution.
What was your type of movie? Like, I'm just curious.
Oh, well, I was a pretentious asshole. I would be like, what's the best movie? And then I would watch those. Whatever got, like, high tomato meters, I'd go to the theater and see those.
Oh, okay.
Like, top 100 movies of all time, I'd watch those.
AFI 100.
Yeah, exactly. I went through that.
I got you.
Got it.
It's like, I bought Chris Stuckman's book about the best films, and I watched that.
Pretty much. That, but with Roger Ebert. If he gave a movie 4 stars, I was going to see it.
Yeah, we have to see Shelby Oaks. I hear it's good. Stuckman's movie.
I'm curious about that one.
A lot of the movie to me feels like a previs or a storyboard for a better film. So like another example of that is when Mecha Kara first shows up at Linkara's house and kind of and they don't reveal him right away. And you they're alluding to who's behind the door and it's first person camera. And I'm like, this is kind of, it's like a parody of those kinds of movies, but I'm like, this kind of works. Or there's another moment later in the movie where Linkara is indisposed and there's all this action going on. They're, balancing all the plots. In fact, I think it's when Rob Walker says, "Not from a critic."
Not from a critic.
And then Linkara bursts through a door and he's escaped. I was like, oh, that's a really good smash cut. Like, oh, now Linkara's out, right? Like, there's Jason just shaking his head. Like, no, none of this is good.
It's sort of like you need to be primed to have a good time. And if you're not, then like nothing lands. I think there are individual moments in this movie that might be funny if they were in something else, or individual parts that are in isolation. It's like, okay, that kind of worked. But when you're just straight up bored and not having a good time, they're just groans. They don't get good responses from me.
Well, if you say so. I'll give you a joke that was funny. John Riggs shows up as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Well,
he does a pretty good Obi-Wan.
I thought that dude was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And he goes, I have urgent business with you. And then he has to go pee.
There is urgent business I must take care of.
And I'm going to put them on Whatnot. I'm going to put them on Encore. Links to both in the description below.
Yeah,
I like that part too.
Ducking out of the camera. That's a good joke with him too.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm still here. Oh, that's good. See ya.
If you watch the making of, which, by the way, the making of, Jason tells us... Well, Jason has a theory.
My theory is they were probably shooting something similar to the other two ones. Or maybe they won't because Bargov was in there and he did the other two. But my theory is they were shooting another one because, they want the making of, because those were highlights and they want to include them, and Doug's a fan of them. So they were probably shooting one and everybody was just miserable, so they were like, all right, fucking no. We're doing this other interview bullshit that they ended up doing.
There are two people who have interviews in the making of. One is Brad Jones and one is, I'm going to keep calling him John Riggs. He looks a little bit like John Riggs. They have the worst video quality you've ever fucking seen in your life.
Yeah.
It's remarkably bad. I'm like, is this a joke? Like out of focus, scratched up, like staticky. I'm like, it's 2013 you're shooting this.
And you're a film critic.
What the fuck are you doing? Just I'm not demanding high quality making ofs. What I'm saying is just like any camera pretty much will be better than that.
Brad Jones to this point had made a couple movies, right? Like on his own?
Yeah, Scotty knows the cinematographer apparently. He's got the inside track.
I do. The one he did was Not Another Cinema Snob movie. Now, I think that was sometime after this movie.
I hear they're good. People keep telling me that those are good.
I have to see it still. I think that's an interesting one to explore, especially the one that my cinematographer did.
People love Brad Jones. I've found he's generally well thought of.
Not if you're Quentin. Apparently, for whatever reason, Quentin had a real boner with him in that video, and I don't know why. He doesn't explain it.
So instead, let's go back to making fun of the scenes with Brad, because that guy sucks.
Well, I think it's because, what he offered was Brad Jones stuck with these guys. He was one of the few people who stuck with these guys.
Oh, yeah. That's why? That's really why? That's the whole reason?
Yeah. Because one of his defenses of Channel Awesome was like, well, I don't think we did anything all that bad. I mean...
Look, like Logan Paul filmed a dead body, and he still has a career.
Logan Paul shot a dead guy in a forest, and he still has a career. So leave Doug alone. And Quentin was just fucking beside himself till somebody said this. Anyway, people like him. I personally have never. Well, that's not true. I was gonna say I don't really find him funny in these movies, but I thought as Indiana Jones, he was a little bit funny.
Yeah, he had a couple good lines in this, and I thought his as Vader, he had good head turning. And there were some scenes where he nailed the cadence of how Vader moves in those scenes.
This Obscura Lupa, is she worth it? I mean, obviously not, but what is she offering anything special whatsoever in these movies that she would be worth the fucking trouble? Because for those who don't know, she is I would say the orchestrator of that Not So Awesome document, and she is getting everything in there that ever happened with exaggeration and all the rest of it. Very, very dramatic, over dramatic person. And ironically, in the making of, at the end, cut from the making of, I just want to say this has been the highlight of my year.
No. Did she really?
She's like, this is extremely special to me. I hope I can be in more. I love being part of this company.
I don't know if you want this for behind the scenes thing, but I thought I would just add, that it was a great production to be a part of. It was a lot of fun to be part of this and Suburban Nights. I hope that future projects are in the works and that, all of us get to work together again. I love being a part of this site and a part of these productions, and it truly is really the highlight of this year and last year, getting to spend time with such great people and do what I love doing most, and that's entertaining people and creating things. And so I hope that whoever's watching this, you enjoyed To Boldly Flee, you enjoy the work that everyone does, it was a great experience.
I know. I zeroed in on that moment too, and they were playing the sappy music and everything. And I was like, aren't you the one who took this whole thing down?
But it kind of makes sense when you think of it as a scorned lover. Then it's like, you probably loved them so much that these small little, autistic transgressions were extremely painful for you. And it really, and something I want to say that we didn't say in past videos is everybody regards everything that has ever happened with the drama of Channel Awesome to be like a workplace. In other words, they're relating to the stories they hear as if it were happening at, like a proper company where with actual employees. Well, first of all, we know that ain't this.
But they have costumes all the time.
I'm not dressed up as Darth Vader at my fucking job, okay? But number two, they were not, and this is really important. I want to, if you're kind of just listening and passing, I just want you to get this. They weren't employees. Employees. Rob and Doug were not their bosses. These were people that applied to and were approved to post their content on a high traffic website. That's it. There was no contract because it was simply you can post here. There was no money exchanged hands. And if you post here, there's rules to posting here. You can't promote your Patreon and you can't have mid-roll ads or whatever. And if you don't like that, if you think that it would have been better if they let the creators benefit more, then great. I kind of, I think it would have been nice to let them promote their Patreons. I would have if it was my website. But that was the deal. But they put Doug on the front page and they didn't put me on the front page. Yeah, no shit. There's a guy, Nettles, on YouTube who did a deep dive on the Not So Awesome document. I would say it's the definitive. If you need to know about the Not So Awesome document, and you have about 8 hours, and he put me in it. Strangely, it was it's me doing Linkara's voice because he wanted to read all of Linkara's tweets, and he played me. We shared a website together for a decade, doing numerous crossovers and movies. Did that hotel lobby mean nothing? Back when I used to do the Linkara, where it was I spent 3, 4, 5 years there, and they did that was my impression at the time. Now it would be much more how dare they take the Atop the Fourth Wall movie off the website? You got to evolve these things.
I do have a note on Lupa here. So this was 2012. She hung on at Channel Awesome until 2015. That's when she officially left. Apparently loved it until then. And then what the Not So Awesome document, I think, was 2018.
Right. It was, it was right around, it was a little after the big Me Too's, which were in 2017.
So yeah, all the transgressions in that document happened in 2012 when making this movie. And then she stayed with them for 3 more years, and then it took 3 more years to make this document. I don't know. Just wanted to point that out. It wasn't like this happened and then
and she was revealed to be a pretty huge Karen.
Oh yeah.
There was something with her neighbor, and she was tweeting the landlord, and
I didn't know this until recently, but she was involved before she got onto That Guy with the Glasses with another copycat site called Reviewtopia, and she had drama with them too.
Her husband there, Phalis.
Yeah.
He's the weakest thing about all 3 of these movies, and it's not even close.
Oh, he's the worst.
Everything is this kind of stuff.
He's rolling his eyes all over the place. Rolling them all over the screen.
What is that? And then she marries him. She's nuts.
This is the hottest guy she could think of.
Okay, let's talk about this. The scene where the computer is sort of hacked by the plot hole, and they're seeing this kind of creepy output, and it's happening in multiple locations, and it's tying the plot together. And then Spoony, who is kind of the MacGuffin of the first act, he kind of lets out one of those sort of mythical screams, and a giant beam goes in and the plot hole starts to kind of envelop the world. I thought that was an incredibly cinematic. That was like one of the moments where I was like, this is incredible. this feels so good to me. Did you guys like any of that stuff?
There were moments where it felt kind of trippy, where I was like, this feels like I was in their place. Like I was in a dark room watching it, like with Doug and Rob, and they're like, oh my gosh, we made a movie.
Yeah.
I felt what they were feeling, but it was just so freaking long that, like, how dare they?
I think the movie does correctly identify, or these guys in general correctly identify Spoony as a star. Which it makes it really tragic that he I just recently watched the Dylan the Night Owl documentary on him. He really let his mental illness, get the better of him for a while. Did he have the tweet controversy with that girl that's in the movie too?
Yeah, this is the right time to talk about Spoony. We're going to do it.
Big Spoony fan here. Just drop me a line if you want to talk about Spoony. Contact me at this website or send me a pizza roll if you guys end up talking about Spoony. Where's the Spoony video? I think you fellas should do a video on Spoony. Where's the Spoony video? If you guys are going to be talking about Spoony, let me know. Is Channel Awesome replacing Red Cow? Is Spoony replacing Red Cow? Is Red Letter Media replacing Red Cow? Is Mr. Plinkett replacing Red Cow? Oh my God!
People say, do a deep dive on Spoony. I'm going to do a deep dive because how long can you go, really? But here, let's just review what happened to poor Spoony, right? Spoony, game reviewer, didn't really have a character. It was just kind of himself, generally speaking, but very funny.
And Insano.
He had Insano, right?
Yeah.
Big creator, one of the big 5 on Channel Awesome. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
He was very sensitive with the audience. Is that fair to say?
Don't tell me how to play.
Like people, there was some incident in 2011 or something where his girlfriend Scarlett was on a stream with him. They made fun of her appearance. He claps back. You guys are assholes. She was his webmaster, but then she broke up with him, and that turned into drunken streams and this, and again lashing out at people. People don't like it when you lash out at them.
Well, Harizo, if your mom would get back to whoring down by the pier, you could probably make rent, but I'm not putting any pressure on her either.
Yeah, and he's like tweeting like all the time. He tweets all the time about like any crazy thing and politics and everything. So he's constantly in that internet feedback loop where it's just negative energy over and over again.
He claimed to be bipolar, and I'm wondering, like, maybe it's more like, because it's hard to be on stage all the time to millions of people, which is what he was doing. Like, maybe you're just not really suited for public life. I mean, one of the biggest problems, what does Tommy Lee Jones say in Men in Black? Like, a person is smart, people can be dumb.
A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it.
Like when your audience is a horde, their collective IQ is much lower, especially that audience probably, and it probably just drove him crazy to interact with people who didn't necessarily want him, to have the best life. So he tweeted this Jesu Otaku person that's in this movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he plays that Cowboy Bebop kind of character, right?
Made me very uncomfortable. I don't know why. It just made me uncomfortable.
She's a deeply uncomfortable person in this.
Well, Spoony tweeted or said, something about a joke about I want to chain you up in my basement and love you dirty and painful until it ends in tears. And this didn't go well. Look,
no,
this didn't go great.
It probably shouldn't.
It was a joke.
That's all.
Jeez. I guess it didn't take long actually for Channel Awesome to fire him after that. No. But I do believe it was Obscura Lupa, who's kind of the Sheila Broflovsky of Channel Awesome, who really pushed for him to be removed. He got fired a month later. Yeah, a month later.
If you don't know, I made a rather poor taste joke on Twitter that offended Lupa, and
I overreacted.
Here's my favorite bit of Spoony trivia. He raised $5,000 a month on his Patreon for a while to raise money for a Spoony movie. He's going to make a Spoony movie. And then he got the money. It came flooding in. People were like, yeah, fuck yeah, make the Spoony Mooney. The Spoony Mooney. And then he was like, I actually don't have a plan. I'm totally overwhelmed. I don't know what this movie would be. And he just didn't I don't know what happened to the money. He probably fed it to Gerard, if I know any better.
Hilarious video, by the way, when he's like, oh God, yeah, you guys raised enough money for the Spoony movie?
Somehow, you guys have reached the Patreon goal where it was listed that I would start work on a movie. And I was just, I was blown away by this. It was like, you guys are the best fans in the world. Oh my God.
You see the panic in his eyes.
Yeah, it's both being flattered and panicked at the same time.
Well, his Patreon still exists, and he still gets trickles from it from, I guess, longtime fans that just would never unsubscribe no matter what. So that's what happened to the money, is he lived off it for a while until he couldn't.
Yeah, I guess he's pretty much flat broke now. He there was another bad breakup he had. He foreclosed on his house. He got in a car crash. He breaks a bunch of ribs.
Are you injured at all?
I had the wind knocked out of me, but I think I'm okay.
Okay.
Are you all right? I just got the wind knocked out of me.
Get out of here! His dog dies in 2021. There's a bunch of sad shit that happened to this dude for some reason. His brother, I guess, shot an illegal immigrant, and so on Twitter he was given a lot of shit for that, and I don't know. He vanished. He's not on the internet, basically.
Exactly. Well, he tweets all the time, but that's about it.
What would happen if he started making videos again? Would he be would people watch?
Who knows?
So he tweets and he has a Patreon still. So the Patreon I just checked has $123 coming in monthly.
Something.
It's not nothing.
Yeah. Doing nothing, Yeah.
If you have a good enough 2010 to 2015, you can get $123 for the rest of your life.
He needs to have the James Rolfe mindset where you disengage from your community.
Yeah.
If he did that and just he talked about I don't know whatever he did, adventure games. What did he do? He did RPGs and stuff like that. PC games. If he just did that and he disengaged from his audience, I think he'd be fine. I think he just gets too sensitive, and it's hard to do when you're out there on the internet.
But fuck Spoony! Fuck that guy! He hates everything!
Yeah.
Well, now's a good time, talking about being sensitive on the internet, to talk about JewWario.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
We're going there, huh?
Oh, yes. Within the last few months, I went on a full JewWario binge. Not his real videos, because I watched those when they were new. But then on his YouTube, he would just have personal vlogs, and for whatever reason, I just went through all of them.
JewWario. What did I know about him? Well, the first time I ever heard of him, it was when he killed himself. It was because Doug had done a video. Then, after the Not So Awesome document years later, I hear that this guy actually was a sexual predator. That's what I knew. He had sexually preyed upon minors or something like that, or some other like deep sexual impropriety, and it probably led to a suicide. That's what I had heard. Is that what you had all heard?
It's basically what I heard.
Yeah.
Well, we were preparing for a video, so I was like, I want to know everything about this. I looked at the Not So Awesome document. I looked at Mars Girl's video. So Mars Girl was a dear friend. She helped make this movie called Farewell, Fama Common Rider. And then she had to do a video where she was like, well, actually, he's a sexual predator. We all know that now. And I'm so sorry that I ever said anything nice about the guy. I said, I just wanted to know, like, what's the crime? I just want to understand what's the crime. In the Not So Awesome document, there's a Jane Doe. There's an anonymous person who was 18 when she started having sexual conversations online with Justin Carmichael. But she says, yeah, but I had the mind of a 16-year-old at best. That's what you'll read if you read the Not So Awesome document. She's like, yeah, but I was a 16-year-old, basically, even though I was 18. And then she goes, we were having these sexual conversations online. And then I somehow came into reading a pamphlet about child sexual predators. And I read that, and I learned about child sexual predation and grooming. And I said, oh my God, that's what JewWario did to me.
The problem I have is that we know who the girl is, and she's obviously not well. So I still view this as like nothing illegal, but like as a 40-something-year-old, you shouldn't be hooking up with this autistic girl who's wearing your t-shirt.
Look, I think it's weird for a 42-year-old to date a 22-year-old. I'm like, oh, that's kind of, I'm not saying that it's sexual predation, but just as a 40-year-old myself, I'm like, oh, that's strange.
Yeah.
But you're kind of bringing the special needs aspect into it more. You're like, that's really what's the problem.
That's what bothers me about it. When I see this girl and like videos of her and like what she was or is, I don't know if she's like anymore. I don't see somebody who's, I'm not okay with this basically when I see this girl. I
don't think there's anything okay. Obviously he cheated on his wife, and there's the whole like having sexual conversations with fans thing. Well, then again, I mean, how famous is Justin Carmichael? It's like a community theater actor having sex with one of the audience members. It's like,
I mean, I didn't really know who he was. So
JewWario, not exactly a household name.
Yeah.
But so here's what she said. Jane Doe stated that Carmichael convinced me to take my clothes off for him and told her he wanted to teach me how to kiss, fuck, etc. This is I'm just reading the Not So Awesome document. She initially thought he was an impassionate teacher and only realized it was grooming after reading the pamphlet about the subject later. So that's the other half of the story is, hey, we all knew, and then the part that I don't know about as much is apparently there might have been other people that told Channel Awesome that he was doing the same with them. But she had said, she was like, well, I couldn't really go to anybody. She said, he didn't rape me. It's not like he raped me. That was something that I think was in the document as well. And, technically grooming's not illegal, so I didn't know what to do. The walls must have been crumbling because the guy ended up killing himself. And apparently he was locked in his bathroom, and his wife was on the other side trying to talk him out of it. He shot himself in the face, apparently.
Jeez.
The whole thing is crazy. Yeah. And then now he's disgraced. But this part of it came out during Me Too. And I don't know, like, I feel like unless there is a special needs aspect to this, that is really what everybody's talking about.
I don't think it is. It's not what everybody's talking about. That's just like me. When I examine the situation, that's why I think it's weird.
Because their whole thing was like, you were harboring a sexual predator. That's what it turned into.
They let go of him when they got wind of this, like, pretty fast. Like, he didn't kill himself, and that wasn't the end of his involvement. There was a year he was still alive where he wasn't associated with the site.
I guess what happened was when the Not So Awesome document came out and Mashad delivered that kind of like monotone response, that online response where he was like, let me, disprove each of the allegations. In this case, they showed DMs or some kind of receipts about how they fired JewWario. And I guess Mars Girl was upset because she was like, well, now you're kind of like outing JewWario's family, who apparently they were completely unaware of all of this, and it came out because of all this Channel Awesome drama years later. So like, I think years went by where his family knew nothing about the sexual stuff. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Mars Girl, by the way, I always like to see the independent content from the scorned Channel Awesome producers. Jason, have you ever seen her? She does that song from Hamilton, you'll be back soon, you'll see, that song.
I don't know anything about Hamilton, but I've watched a fair amount of Mars Girl, so maybe.
She does like a song where she drew, there's like art of her and like Allison and Lindsay looking like super hot. And then like Mashad is like a king from Hamilton. It's like a song about how much Mashad sucks. It's very cringe.
Yo, that sounds awesome. Well, I was gonna get okay. I do have another note about Justin Carmichael shit though, because I've heard Pat the NES Punk talk about this on his podcast, because he was in charge of Retroware, and that's the website that picked him up after he was fired from that guy with the glasses. And he basically said that he asked that guy with the glasses, like, "Hey, why did you let him go?" And he didn't hear any whiff of the sexual stuff.
That is heinous. Absolutely heinous, not to let other people know about a potential danger. Fucking heinous.
Wow, so Pat said that. Look, would I kick the guy off the website for some of this stuff? Yeah, of course, because it reflects poorly on the website, and it's pro Jared level, I would say. It's Andy Signore level, if anybody knows that guy, the guy from Screen Junkies. It's not child molestation, which is what we were told.
Right. Yeah. That's what I thought it was.
Up. Anyway, you know something that this movie at times reminded me of The Dark Knight Rises, in as much as like there's two that come before it, and then by the third one, it's almost a little bit overwhelming. It's almost too much to bear.
Hey, heads down! This is it!
No, that's
Nostalgia critic!
I understand that.
I just wanted to bring this up. You know how the AVGN calls himself nerd? Like when he writes himself in fiction, he's nerd or the nerd. You know this?
This is the nerd. Nerd? I don't think I know any nerd. The fucking nerd.
First of all, how do you guys feel about that?
It's douchey, but
well, I don't know that I mean, I think I would, when I was younger, I would have said, oh, let's watch the new nerd episode. But I don't think I called him nerd.
I think I said the whole thing. I'm going to watch the angry video game nerd. Or I'd say the angry Nintendo nerd, because I forgot that he was the angry video game nerd.
Well, I bring it up because the Nostalgia Critic's name is Critic. Always has been, always will be. So it's the same. We're in the same boat. He's Critic.
How do you feel about Critic?
It feels a little stupid. At the same time, like, what are you going to do? Give him a name? Like Jake? He's not Doug, right? And AVGN is not James. Board James is James.
They've both had interactions where they're talking to themselves. Like in this, Doug talks to himself as Doug and as Critic. And then there's, I don't know, AVGN where he's like, oh, I'm going to review the Ghostbusters game, but I don't need you. Like, so he's interacted with himself as like both in the past.
Or he's been like, James, that's a stupid name, and moves on or something. I thought the I want a car callback was funny.
Oh my God, you guys, I want a car!
All right, where's that free? No!
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, it was good.
Not everybody is together until 46 minutes in. At 46 minutes, they all teleport into the den.
That's ridiculous that they would spend so much time trying to one by one set them up and then just go, fuck it, they're all here. Hit a button, they're here. Fun.
I just want to know this. Where did they get all these lens flares?
These were good effects. They turned out way better than I thought. Spoony did a lot of work on this, and then Phelan ended up doing a ton of work. And then Jim and his team did the most work out of everybody.
What suite of visual effects are used to do like the teleporting and the debris that's falling when the camera's shaking? And every second of this thing has, and they look cheesy and dumb, and they look like they came from Vegas editing software or something. And I assume that they did, but they all are just a little bit better than they ought to be. So he's motivated by the dread of Mati's death. That was a twist for me. Insano, I think, has some good moments in this. I really like when he's like, we're talking about a plot hole. And it has that feeling, you know, if you ever watch Saturday morning cartoons, there's always some major event where the routine bad guy has to team up with the, you know, Robotnik has to team up with Sonic to defeat Chaos or something, right? Oh, I thought that the memory wipe Men in Black vibrator, it's funny that it's a vibrator, I guess. I don't know.
That's a vibrator.
The sign, the USS exit sign, like they're doing a montage and like one of the pieces of the montage was just trying to get it just so.
Yeah.
These are good gags. The flying house, very cool. I'm just very impressed that they kind of got me to suspend my disbelief that I was on a starship.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. That's kind of insane. Like even the car getting out of the garage and doing all that fighting stuff, I was like, oh, this is kind of fun.
And you had the worst love triangle ever.
Oh, I know.
Did Todd in the Shadows actually like hook up with Lindsay?
Yeah, I think we asked this in the last video.
Yeah, we did, and then we researched on our own, and they actually were dating.
Oh, okay.
And they mention it either in the movie or in the making of. They're like, can you imagine if we actually dated?
Can you imagine if you ever did date her?
Yeah, in what parallel universe would that happen?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they also wink to Lupa and Phaelus because she like looks
Winks
at
at him.
She looks at him and he's
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Pretty much.
Lupa.
Since we're talking about sexual assault so damn much, there's a big controversial scene. It's in the Not So Awesome document. Mecha Kara. He defeats Linkara and captures him for a while and takes his place throughout the majority of the movie. At some point, he wants to he's the Borg. He wants to assimilate other people. And the first one he turns Lindsay Ellis into what is it? Sevens of nines? I'm not a Star Trek guy.
Yeah, 7 of 9.
Yeah, the lady with the thing on her eye.
Mm-hmm.
That lady in a skin tight outfit that I'm not saying Lindsay's fat, but like she had a little too much stomach for that outfit. You're all thinking it, so let's just say it out loud. Look, I'm not one to speak. And she knew it. We knew it. Everybody knew it. I told them it's a little too skin tight. It's a little too cute. If you put me in that suit, it'll be a little too cute. Anyway, Linkara comes at her with a power drill, and it cuts to Film Brain, who's on the outside of the door, and he's overhearing the what sounds like consensual sex.
I'm gonna give you
two people having a nice time, squealing and this kind of thing. And then he returns back to the clinic, and he can't believe what he just saw.
Are they coming?
Well, that's a loaded question.
What?
They were having all sex. Is that how I got made? No, Film Brain, you were grown in a tube. I was grown in a tube. Anyway, unless you had told me, I never ever would have interpreted that scene as non-consensual sex. And there might be a reason for that. So according to the commentaries and the Not So Awesome document, the scene as originally designed, written, sound effects made it seem like Linkara was raping Lindsay Ellis. Mm-hmm. And based on the sound effect that they were making or something, or the way it was shot. And Rob Walker himself was like, I'm not comfortable with the way that went down. I don't like it. Doug's trying to make this rapey, and I hate Doug.
Doug got a hold of this scene and then added lines that Lindsay was going to say to make it more clear that Film Brain should be thinking that she's getting it on with him. This somehow kind of made the scene, the only way I can put it is more rapey. I'm like, listen, Lindsay, I will not let this scene come out if I think it's going to look like you were getting raped.
And so I'm going to make it less rapey. It was like all Rob. And so I guess he was the one who reworked the scene to make it what it is in the final film. Lindsay and Linkara were both incredibly uncomfortable with the whole thing. Rob got sign off from Lindsay that it was acceptable.
Yeah, because he added like Transformer noises to it.
I'm gonna give you
Yeah, they added transfer like
instead of like aggressive sex noises, it was Transformer noises.
That was one of the great controversies that you'll find in the Not So Awesome document. Not so awesome, and I just never would have thought like, oh, that's a rape scene. I
wouldn't have thought that either. But although when you put a bunch of Transformer noises on it, I wouldn't have thought it was sex. So I didn't know how Film Brain came to that conclusion. So it kind of like, I didn't get the joke when I was watching it. I was like, wait, how do you think that's sex? It's just Transformer noises.
Well, Film Brain's a virgin, but
oh, okay, yeah.
You know what? Like, I thought that too. Yeah, I heard this controversy for sure, and it actually just sounded like he was, making a new version of her. You know what I mean? They show the drill, so he's like screwing her. Get it? But other than that,
but like there was no implication that the drill was going into genitals,
right?
Or anything like that. It was just pure science fiction shit with Film Brain being confused about what sex was. That said, I do think Lindsay is portrayed in this as fairly horny especially for Todd in the Shadows.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in the last movie too, right? I mean, like, remember the scene where JewWario, like, you can see his penis? And
Oh yeah.
And she's like, I love penis.
Yeah, and they're all like, we're women, we love dick. Like, okay.
That's so Rob and Doug. That's such a, oh man.
He's the site stud. They like, we just went over the sexual stuff, and then they had him shirtless in this. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. He was like,
right.
George Takei. He's like obsessed in this with that, and he's reading from the book, and then during one of the climactic scenes, he takes off his shirt and does the like fencing scene from Star Trek.
And then 8-Bit Mickey wanted to get in on the action. He's shirtless at the end at the party at the house.
Well, anytime JewWario is in any kind of state of undress, naturally it makes everybody uncomfortable given his whole situation. Whereas Spoony showed up in the Sting Speedo from Dune, and I thought that was a delight. A delight.
No.
With all the fake fog coming out of him and everything.
I made a point to bold in my notes, cringe when that happened.
You cringed. Did you see Spoony? He was rail thin, and he was distorting himself. I mean, he really gave his all.
Why cringe? That's what I wrote for that.
All right, fine. You know what? I love, actually, when Zod and Terrell were being food critics, or Ferdinand, as they were calling him throughout the movie. They were food critics, and they were trying to, like, figure out what their next move was, and then it cut to, like, the guards, and they were just silent. I don't know. There's just some comic timing. There's some nice comic timing around that.
I like how like all the guards are played by like Doug Walker, so like every guard has a really poorly disguised Doug Walker voice.
Oh yeah,
Except for Malachite, I knew my wife and I were like, I was like, that's Malachite, the stabbing guy.
Oh really?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
for sure.
was it?
I
didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, and then at the end of the making of, you see him in that same garb, posing with the whole thing. So I was like, yeah, that's him.
There's that scene where they're like, that's what you sound like. That's straight from Family Guy. That's you.
That's what you sound like,
There was also a moment when he's dressed up like Doug is dressed up like Judge Dredd, and he's chasing after guards in a wide shot, and he goes, "Don't run," like that, and that's from Dogma.
Don't run!
That's the scene where Matt Damon shoots up the conference room, and there's like blood splatters on the wall, and you can hear Matt Damon yelling, "Don't run! Don't run!" It's the exact. So for the second time in one of these movies, a Kevin Smith film was directly referenced with like cadence. The first time, if you remember, was they were called Nazis.
Right.
They were called Nazis!
At first, when I was watching, I was like, this is shot in such a way that doesn't require tons of people to be there all at once, but they were. So never mind. They could have, they actually could have spread this out based on the way they,
They were all in that same basement.
Oh boy. If you thought the hotel stunk in the first movie.
Ooh, a whole house to stink up. I clogged the basement toilet and the upstairs toilet. In space, nobody can hear you clog it.
Flush. Tons of costumes and makeup. Oh, there's a great moment, quote unquote, great. Rob Walker's telling the story, or no, there's some blog footage. Doug Walker is lecturing the whole group. He's like, everybody has a lot of costumes. So what that means is, I'm going to give you a card. You're going to take that card. He's being such a cunt. He's like, and you're going to write what your costume is.
You guys are going to write down everything you need to bring, costume or prop-wise, that is essential to the shoot.
Then I'm going to walk up to you, and you're going to hand me the card, and you're going to say, I have these items. And if you don't, then you're lying to me.
If it doesn't end up at the location, then I know you've lied to me.
It's like, just knock it down a few pegs, Rob. All these people don't really want it. Well, I shouldn't say that. Obscura Lupa very much wanted to be there.
Oh.
Until she didn't.
Oh, how about this? The Emperor tells Brad Jones, hey, like, he's being sort of the Satan archetype. I can give you everything. I'll even give you like a crew and real actors and money and equipment. But he doesn't really, the visuals that are shown are just a bunch of like obese nerds.
Yeah.
They're like, I can give you all of this.
Not enticing at all.
Not whatsoever. I'd leave the room. I'd say, come back when you have a real crew that can.
He could have made any image he wanted to, and that's what he chose.
Gen AI video is all the controversy these days. You use a little bit of it, people are not going to be happy with you.
You could use it to make them hot.
Will a day come where Doug is using Gen AI video to like kind of fill in his sketches?
Way. Hell no.
I mean, you got to admit, whatever you think of To Boldly Flee, It ain't. This is not AI.
They'd start typing up a new, not so awesome doc. They just be like, they'd be writing the
AI,
sequel.
God damn it.
Or they'd be writing a sequel.
Oh, the costume designer was once again the dentist from the first movie.
Oh yeah,
for the Zod stuff. Yeah.
And they were very, in the making of Scotty, they talked about the costumes like the whole time. It took up something like half of the, they were like, we love that RoboCop costume. And we love that 7 to 9's costume and all that.
I thought that was a pretty good gag where he's like, it's like, I'm just going to call up 3 random crewmates and we'll ask them. And it's the 3 robots.
It's funny. It's funny.
And
It's a good
it
joke.
pans over and he's, RoboCop. And it's,
You know what? There's not one joke in the AVGN movie that's even that funny.
Yeah.
That's true.
Right?
You don't like the puke? You don't like the hump on the table?
Hey, stop that.
Well, is the humping the table a joke? I mean,
I'm
what
not
is
wearing
it?
any panties. No?
I'm not
Do
wearing
anything
any
for you?
panties.
I hated that because it just felt like a guy wrote it and she has said it. And she's like, oh man, it's so cringy to me.
Take a look at those melons. Take note McButter. That's not, come on. No laugh there.
I thought that the lightning effect during the Emperor scene looked about as good as it does in Revenge of the Sith.
What that looked like to me was iMovie. You can do lightning. And it's like they took a bunch of points of iMovie lightning and put it on each of his fingertips. That's what
they just tracked it onto his finger. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. iMovie was my first thing I ever edited on. So
you know how it got done. Maybe they did like a quick iMovie.
I've definitely used that effect.
They gave Obscura the big Ridley moment, get away from her, you bitch, when really what I wanted to tell the whole crew was get away from her, that bitch.
Get away from her, you bitch!
And she said it with all the charisma too. It's like, get away from her, you bitch.
Get away from her, you bitch. The humorless Karen that needs to be in this film. Look, I thought Todd's face destroying Mechakara, spoilers, to me that's good setup and payoff. Jason, what would happen if somebody were to do a fan cut of this, get it down to that snug 90 minutes?
It's hard to imagine a good movie buried within here, but maybe. I think you'd have to reshoot and rework some stuff just so. My big thing is not only is it long, they try to tell more of a story in this, and it's incomprehensible. I still don't know what the fuck it's about. They go to look for a hole, and then it doesn't it doesn't matter, and then it swallows them, and that's the plot of the movie. The fuck is this?
That's the meaning of life, looking for a hole and it swallows it.
There's a scene. Did you guys see this too? It's when the many Bothans died to bring us this information, which I also thought was a great gag. Actually, I thought it was what the fuck's a Bothan? We don't know. They're all dead. Very funny.
Many Bothans died to bring us this information.
What the hell's a Bothan?
Nobody knows. They're all dead.
To me, that's, I don't know, circular
I
logic.
thought that was good.
I believe it was during that scene, they were having a group conversation, and they didn't have close-ups of some of the individuals. They just had a wide. And so they just did a digital punch-in, and boy, does it look like a digital punch-in.
Doug does that in the whole movie. He says this in the commentary, that the movie was rendered in 720, but he shot it in 1080, so we'd have the space to zoom in wherever he wanted.
I mean, I do that with 4K instead.
Yeah, same.
But usually you have to shoot it properly and light it properly, not have noise.
It's nothing great, but look, Brad Jones and Luke end up becoming a big part of the movie. And in the first act, they paired them up and gave them a friendship. That kind of worked.
That's a big problem with the movie, is that there's too many little groups. There's too many pairs up. There's too many to count. In Suburban Nights, there was 2 groups, and when you get sick of one, you cut to the other. And this one, it's they're cutting between 10 different groups, and I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
So,
fair. But even though it's incomprehensible, and you're totally right that it is, I think that the way it cuts just visually and rhythmically between them makes it feel like something's going on.
Yeah, it wasn't hard for me to track. I knew when I was with a certain group. Amazingly, by some miracle of Doug's editing, I was able to figure it out.
I thought that John Riggs showing up to Film Brain and Film Brain's cradling himself and screaming,
Stop yelling, you British sissy boy! Oh, forget it.
He says, "Oh, forget it." Look, I'm all turned around on Film Brain at this point. I think I get, except for the fact that he's a bitch. It turns out, he's another one that just stabbed Doug right in the fucking heart.
Oh, did he? Did he really?
Totally.
Hold on, he's not in the document. You're wrong.
When he became a 40-year-old, he he went on camera in that little bedroom of his and talked about how awful
The same
how
one.
awesome really was.
Amazingly, the same one.
Incredible. Some of us
Yeah.
never leave.
You know, in the behind the scenes, he was talking about, I just hope that I didn't disappoint Doug. You know, do you remember that part?
I was worried that I'd kind of, again, let down Doug. I always worry about letting down the side.
Wow.
And I was like, man, how could you possibly disappoint him? You're playing exactly what he wants you to play every movie.
Yeah, you don't depart, you know?
Yeah.
It reminded me a bit of, if you guys remember watching, like when we were kids, they would do like Spider-Man meets X-Men, but it would be the Spider-Man animation team that now is drawing the X-Men. So the X-Men were still voicing. They would get the voice actors, but it was the Spider-Man team that drew them, and they all looked fucking weird. That's what this feels like. It feels like a director who doesn't normally make these other shows has to kind of figure out where they all fit in. And, you know, it reminded me of, you know, haphazard team-ups. Are your thoughts clear, Lord Snob? Clear as Pepsi, Crystal Pepsi. That's funny. It's a good gag.
Clear as Pepsi, Crystal Pepsi.
I thought the CG overall, every time I saw the Death Star bomb and all that, I thought that was all sweet.
Fun stuff.
It was cute. It's cute for a little internet movie.
And then I'm gonna hit you with a controversy. Maybe you'll agree with me. The It's a Distraction musical number. I mean, the song itself was kind of funny, and it was kind of well sung by Lindsay. She did her best. She did fine. You get that the Bonnie Tyler holding out for a hero kind of thing happening.
Gonna party with my friends and ain't nobody gonna say it's not right.
But I thought the way it ramped up into Doug flying into battle and all of the things starting to converge, I was like, this is very cinematic. This is really, and they're all in living rooms.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like Angry Joe and Mars Girl are like doing the spy stuff and like shooting things, and but they're just in an upstairs hallway. It's like
I'm thinking like, how can you not love like Angry Joe dressed up as like Solid Snake? And you know, if you're here for it, you're here for it.
And he used the cardboard box. I love that too.
Oh yeah. That was
I
great.
also love when he shoots behind him like this. Actually, I thought I was going to hate the singing scene, but I kind of liked how that one guy, who's the big guy, who wants to sing the whole time?
Kyle Calgren. I had to look at the spreadsheet. At this point in time, I was not watching this website anymore, so like, what bugged me about him is they introduce him 2.5 hours into the movie.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Just so he could be in that fucking scene.
Look, when he showed up as Yoda and they were doing the Yoda shit with Luke, I was I was not liking it. That not my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, but when they're singing and his whole motivation is he wants to sing, I kind of enjoyed that, like watching him in the background, just wanting to get the microphone. Like to me, that whole scene was entertaining to watch. There was a moment like at midpoint where Gina and my wife and I were like, oh, this part's getting better because we watched it in 2 parts. So on the second part, we're like, the second part's an easier watch. Definitely. An hour 45. So we in 2 1 hour 45-minute sections, the second half is more... It flows better, I think.
This is a pregnant woman that you made do this.
I know, dude.
Yeah. The second part also like fast forwards through like Revenge of the Sith, and Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Or Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. It does that whole arc.
I know, it's crazy. All in an hour 45.
Scotty, do you remember Holly Brown?
Yes, I do. Of course, I do. She was had a heroic moment in the second.
Yeah, right. Site admin lectured the boys about how best to move forward with the movie, etc.
I just want to take this opportunity to say, I fucking told you so.
Well, I guess she begged for an extra day of shooting, and she was working on the movie from surgery, off-site, and was begging for an extra day of, I don't know, this is like some drama that you see in this document. Alison Pregler, the, good old Obscura, she really goes on and on about this movie. The one that she said she loved being part of and was the highlight of her year on camera, and said, I don't even mind if you cut this out. I just want you all to hear this.
I don't know if you want this for behind the scenes thing, but I thought I would just add, that it was a great production to be a part of.
She goes on and on and on about how this movie was the tipping point. This was when we didn't have the camaraderie that we had on the last one where everybody was dumb and stupid and unsafe. Well, actually that one was great and I loved it. And there was a lot of camaraderie. So, there's a scorned lover. Doug, at some point, gets sucked into the real world. and he suddenly finds himself talking to the writer, Doug Walker, who waltzes into his own living room brushing his teeth, which is a little I don't know. Maybe he was rushing around that morning. Maybe he needed to get his laptop and was brushing at that moment. Quentin makes a lot of this. He's like, I can't believe he's brushing his teeth in the living room. I'm like, well, it's not impossible. But I see your point, Quentin.
What in the world made Doug Walker choose brushing his teeth as the activity he would do as he entered his living room?
He encounters Doug. Doug says, well, yeah, I created you. You're the character. I'm the writer. I don't think he calls himself Doug in the movie. The writer, the character. And he says, at some point, the character informed the writer instead of the other way around. Hey, what's on the other side of that door? Reality. And I'm like, I don't know, but I was like kind of intrigued.
Out there is a world that has no structure, no plot, no story arc, no themes, no purpose. In this world, I have given you purpose. You have reason to exist. You have a point in being here. But out there, you'll be the dealer of your own destiny. Everybody's future is unknown. Just reality, the great mystery.
I thought the drama kind of worked. I thought, I don't know, the performances kind of worked. Like the nostalgia critic himself seemed to be going through an existential crisis. They're cutting back to the action and then cutting to this kind of calm moment. Very cinematic, I thought.
Guess which part of the movie Rob did not write?
That one, the best written
that
part of the
part.
movie.
Yeah, exactly.
You all want anything? Maybe some hot dogs or some more popcorn or... Oh, crap. I forgot my wallet. You know what? Don't go anywhere. I need to take a pee break. I've got a bladder the size of a thimble and a prostate the size of a grapefruit. I'll be right back.
So this was him kind of retiring nostalgia critic. And there's a line from Doug. He says, it's like a house of cards. If one card is removed, the whole thing disappears. Meaning like the fiction world. If you're removed, if you step into reality, if you grow up, if you grow out of this adolescence and making, playing pretend, that world will go away. You're that card.
If one evolves beyond the story, then the story disappears. It's like a house of cards. You take one out, the entire thing falls apart. You're that card.
If you go into the plot, right, or if you leave reality, the plot hole will encompass everything. Something like that. Again, Jason said it's incomprehensible. He's right.
It's up to you, critic. The world of endless possibilities, the great mystery, or a world where you know you have meaning and purpose. It's up to you.
But anyway, the point is this. If one card is removed, the whole thing disappears. You're that card. Could a truer thing be said than that about Doug Walker and Channel Awesome?
Yeah, I mean...
He's the card.
Well, when they retired, he retired the character, didn't they all kind of complain because all their viewership went down?
Well, that was this. That's what this movie was meant to do. It was meant to retire him. And in the commentaries, interestingly enough, they hadn't decided to bring him back yet. So they still speak as if the nostalgia critic was a thing of the past, and they're done with it, which is interesting.
Yeah, they and in the doc, they were like, we were all very upset during To Boldly Flee because we felt like the way it was written and where the story went implied that we should all retire. That the whole thing was a ploy by Doug to get us all to retire, which actually makes no sense because the movie is really about the nostalgia critic dying so that all the other producers can kind of go on. I think that's what Doug was going for. But they said it hurt their feelings. Their fifis were hurt by the nostalgia critic wanting to leave the living room. I think that's a good time to pause, Jason. Tell us about, Jason did us all a service, and he created a database of everybody who appears in the Not So Awesome document and what they're doing today. Some of them have YouTube channels with 200 subscribers with zero views.
Well,
we want to know some broad stats, some highlights, some key findings.
What I did actually is I did anybody who, like any creator who appeared in one of the movies or the document, I cataloged and I found their channel now, like subscriber count, like I made like a note about them. What I found, interestingly enough, is a lot of the people in the document were not in any of the movies, which is, I thought was interesting because I thought it was basically, the people we'd be seeing in these were the people complaining. And yeah, that's true for some of them, like largely the women, like Lindsay Ellis, Mars Girl, fucking Allison. She's, the spearhead of this. There are 17 non-anonymous people in the document, and 9 of them were in some of the movies, I think.
Wow.
And there's 30 in this, like, Into Boldly Flee, so that's not, like, a high percentage of even if it was just them that was in this. Like, who do you want to know about? I can tell you about him, I guess.
Well, Phaelus, he still makes content. Is he in the doc?
He's gotta be. Yeah, he is.
Well, you said there's 17 people. Give me the ones who basically have vanished from the internet or have such small followings, it's ridiculous.
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of that. There's like, okay, so what's in To Boldly Flee? Like Spoony, I guess, because he disappeared. JewWario's dead, okay. The fucking Game Heroes like 8-Bit Mickey, Tom, they still technically make videos and stream, I think. They just don't get any views. No, Sad Panda's not around. Nostalgia Chick's not around. Well, she kind of is. She just made a video, actually, so I gotta update that to yes, she is around.
She made that PBS thing.
Yeah. I wrote her down as she's kind of still around because she was a little bit on a video hiatus, but she's kind of back now. Mars Girl doesn't really make anything. Paw doesn't really make anything. Paw's a King's Quest speedrunner now, so I guess he does that. Linkara's around. Suede is not.
It was Linkara and Suede who thought that they were trying to get them to retire. So Linkara was like on edge.
Filmbrain still makes videos, apparently. I said he gets like 2,000 views a video about.
I feel him.
Last Angry Geek is still around. He's the guy who's Obi-Wan in this. Apparently gets less than 200 views a video, though.
Wow, that dude's funny.
Nash is still around. He does some sort of podcast, though. It's a different thing. And he just, like, posts it raw. He just posts, like, 2-hour-long fucking blocks of stuff.
My point in pulling it together was to be like, you don't really have much of a following without this website in the first place.
Well, after people stopped caring about this website, so many of their, like, internet careers kind of just died, or that was it. Just because, like, that was it. There was no, nobody followed them over to YouTube, like, when that was the jump to be made. So.
Yeah, the whole thing was staked on that relationship. Yeah.
It's more rare that they succeeded than they failed, I would say. Because, I mean, yeah, I'm just saying that there were less successes, there were more failures.
Linkara returned. There's a big hero moment. Linkara shows up in the, can anyone help us? And Linkara's ship shows up and he's there to take a big dump.
Fun fact about Linkara, I did like a checklist for what people were involved in. And that's all the movies, including Uncanny Valley, including The Brawl, and The Document. Linkara is the only one to be in everything. He's the only guy. He's in The Document, and he's in all 5 of the, like, collab big things they did.
So he's the ultimate.
He's the Omega.
He was always gung-ho throughout these,
Yeah, he much like Allison, wanted nothing more in life than to do this forever. And so they love it. They love it. And when it didn't work out, they were very upset.
For these 3 movies, Linkara doesn't, I don't feel he makes a big impact in these movies. I don't feel like he's featured as heavily as like Spoony is. Yeah, I feel like he's like passing through these movies.
And that's a good point. I think actually this To Boldly Flee must have been, besides Atop the Fourth Wall, it seems like To Boldly Flee was in it more than Suburban Nights, for sure.
He gets a much bigger moment, and plus he gets to be a robot the whole movie, and that robot is from his series, and so they let Linkara indulge a little bit in this one, right?
Did you think it was funny that they had Linkara do an impression of himself while he's a robot?
Oh, that whole sequence was hysterical.
Yeah, don't take me outside or else my skin might sparkle.
His voice is much more annoying than that. I mean, I don't sound like that. Yeah.
Everybody impersonating themselves. Yeah, I thought it was great.
Hi, I'm obsessed with violence and anarchy, probably because my mother didn't hug me enough. Hey, I love my mama.
Are we convincing you at all, Jason, that there was some merit to this film beyond the fact that it was long?
I already said like my piece. It's like I think if you really zoom in, there are individual nuggets that are okay in a vacuum, but as a whole, it's just not enjoyable at all because you're bored the whole time.
Nothing can stop us!
Yes, you would need a bizarre combination of reviewers, nerds, gamers, and internet personalities to defeat us now.
Band-Aid fit Mickey.
Dude, you're right. I mean, it's true. Because, like, I was checking the kitchen clock all the time, and my wife was always like, "Can you just see how much time is left? We shouldn't be doing that." You're right.
There was a time when it was at 2 hours, and then I felt like another hour went by, and I looked down, it was like 10 minutes.
It was like 10 minutes. Yeah, that's that kind of movie.
Yeah.
It increased somehow in time. But look, you can't eat a whole family-sized pizza in one sitting either, fellas. You gotta, you need to eat. You need to take a shit. As my daughter says, unload so that I'll be hungry for more later.
Make room for dessert.
I love that.
I think my big problem really is just like there's no through line, and what the movie is about and like what is going on is basically incomprehensible. There's no reason to like laugh at any of the jokes or anything if I'm just confused the whole time.
I like it.
Like, there's a part in this movie, Nostalgia Critic puts on, like, a fucking costume, and they beam him back outside just so we can fight some robots and then come back. Why? Yeah. I know why, because they explain it in the fucking commentary. It's because that's where they were supposed to find Mati, but they couldn't get him to be in the movie, but they just made the fucking scene anyway. I don't understand this movie at all. Like anything that happens, I don't get it.
Yeah, that brings up a good point about the whole Mati thing. I mean, at this point, they could have just thrown that shit out.
Yeah. Why center the whole movie around a guy who didn't agree to be in the fucking movie? That's stupid.
They said that originally James was supposed to be sort of like a Sarah Connor type character, and then they ended up just doing whatever they did with him. I think that the Nostalgia Critic dying is just good narrative, okay? Even though the movie is incomprehensible. I think being like at the end of the third movie, Nostalgia Critic dies. That feels like good comic book stuff. Kill him. Kill that motherfucker. And I think the same thing should have happened to the angry video game nerd in his movie. Kill that motherfucker.
Yeah, dude, isn't that kind of nice? Like, you can see why Doug would, like, want to have that arc. Like, this character he built, like, he gets to be sent off and this badass sacrificing himself. Like, I get why he wanted to do that.
Yeah, because it makes for a better movie, honestly. And
yeah,
it sounded like, Doug definitely bit off more than he can chew. One of the things I wanted to talk about today was I want to intimately understand what those 2 or 3 years really looked like. We all know that these movies were shot in short periods of time, but editing them would be a fucking beast. Yeah. And planning for them is a beast. And so from the time you make Kick-Assia, that's 2011, Suburban Nights, 2012, To Boldly Flee, 2010, 2011, 2012, and plus all the series and managing the site and all the rest of it, they must have been all ready to have heart attacks, or at least Doug, because he had so much to do. Crazy.
That's how long it took James just to make the EVGN movie, right? It took him that long just to make, like even longer, exactly. It's like he had to, that dragged on for fucking years.
Yeah.
Doug is like, I'll have it done in 2 weeks. Whatever.
Shoot. There'll be a Death Star and it'll be fine.
Somebody's going to do the CG, I'm sure. You know that Jim Joros guy that always shows up in like modern Channel Awesome? He did the sets on this. The sets, the living rooms.
He moved the furniture out of the living room so they can all fit in.
Operator, this is Nash, ready to assist you.
Nash, I need you to transmit a message to the universe.
Okay, well, I could, but I've got a hot pocket in the oven, so...
Just do it!
All right, jeez. Dick.
The denouement, Dr. Insano shows up and tells them the real kind of themes of the story. He tells them, because they have to all criticize everything in order to stop the plot hole, which I thought was a good thematic, hey, let's all be critical.
But what about the inconsistencies?
Oh, well, there'll always be inconsistencies, more plot holes to find, but it's the little surprises that make life worth living. So celebrate them, enjoy them. Without them, life would be boring.
But I don't want to live in a giant mistake.
Well, tough shit. Nothing's perfect, kid.
Tough shit. Nothing's perfect. So the critics have to learn to accept imperfection, which I think very thematic of these films. Like just accept how flawed they are.
So, you think you'll ever find true love again?
Don't see that happening at the moment. I've really got to stop chasing these jerks who just reject me anyway. Oh, as if.
Bitch.
Hey.
Then we get to the credits, and we're treated to Rob Walker improv.
Oh.
If they make a movie about me, I want myself played by Anthony Hopkins. Silence and Lambs, really good stuff. Remains of the Day. Did you see that one? Marvelous. Marvelous. Goodbye.
Am I watching this? But we're all ready to go home after 3 hours and 20 minutes. And you hit me with this? The unfunny Rob Walker improv? People accuse James of wanting to, his plan had been to leave YouTube and go into the pictures. And that the AVGN movie was supposed to be that kind of conduit. Is there anything like that going on with Doug here? Do you think he was interested in, does this dude fit into the studio system whatsoever? Or did he just want to stay right where he was and make cool movies at a low level?
I feel like Doug is such a creature of the internet. And I think he just wanted to make shows for the internet. And I think he just was burnt out specifically on Nostalgia Critic. And he just wanted to do something else.
You know how these DVDs are $200, $300 and no one would, we would never buy those. You know what I would pay $200, $300 for? If they wrote a book, Channel Awesome wrote a book about the making of Kick-Ass Suburban Nights to Boldly Flee. Show me everything that happened during that period.
Prologue by Lupa Obscura.
Oh God.
Have her write little cunty asides that they can all mock.
It would have to be a raw retelling and truthful, and I would buy that book so fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oxygen disabled. Oxygen enabled. Oxygen disabled. Oxygen enabled.
Here's a few things I think work about the movie. We've gone over lots of them, but this is some broad strokes. I understood what was meant to be humorous and comedic. I understood what was meant to be comedic drama, and I understood what was meant to be genuine drama. This is more than I thought I would be able to say about this movie. I thought I would be they're taking themselves too seriously in spots, and but for me it worked. I was I know when you're meaning to do this, I know when you're meaning to do that.
Is this thing safe? If there's anything AuSMD taught me, it's that there's nothing safer than risking a patient's life with an experimental treatment that will surely kill him if I am wrong. Painkillers?
Oh, don't mind if I do.
At the end of the making of, they were like, what should change? By this point, Doug's saying, I'm not making another one of these. But they go, what should Channel Awesome make next for a movie?
I would love for us to do horror next.
Horror! You gotta do horror! Horror comedy, that's my thing, come on! Do it!
The biggest answers from the producers were a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
Obscura Lupa in particular wanted to do that. And lots of them wanted to make a musical. You imagine all of them singing against green screens.
No. As long as it's not a musical, because I cannot sing. Yeah, no one wants to hear that. No one ever wants to hear that.
No.
Oh God!
Well, I can see why. It's such a what do you call it? Buffy the Vampire Slayer had a musical episode.
Yeah.
It's such a that era.
Yeah.
What you want to do? What was it? Dr. Horrible. Remember that or whatever?
Oh yeah, Joss Whedon. Yeah.
Yeah, Joss Whedon. All that Joss Whedon stuff. That's such a that time period.
You're so right. Yeah, and it would have been 2011 or so, right?
There's the Nostalgia Critic Moulin Rouge review, which is a musical. Come on, that's not enough. They want to do another one of those, feature length.
But hey, what it started is one thing. Does it still hold up after all these years? Of course not!
Well, supposedly the Moulin Rouge episode, Doug had said something like, it was so good, I'll never be able to top myself for the Moulin
That was a
Rouge.
reasoning for why he wanted to stop doing Nostalgia Critic.
Right.
That video. That stupid video.
So Doug does have cognitive dissonance. Doug is a little in outer space.
Oh, for sure.
But truthfully, to make movies, you got to be a little bit retarded.
This is true. This is true. He's always the one in the making ofs that seems pretty blissfully unaware of the vibe on the set.
In that making of, he pitched his one pitch for like, well, something I would really enjoy doing, and I don't have it fully developed or anything, but Team That Guy Goes to Hell.
Team That Guy with the Glasses Goes to Hell. And I like the idea of figuring out what everybody's idea of hell would be. And maybe at one point they escape into heaven, and or they had to fight the devil. Maybe the devil could be Ask That Guy. That was an idea. Or make a whole new devil, or a funny idea. I just really liked that idea. But I had no story at all. You know, it was just some funny character jokes and nothing else. So, yeah, you probably won't see that. But that was one idea I had.
Ooh, what?
Yeah.
Ask That Guy with the Glasses would be the devil, and they would all be trying to escape from hell. Now, you'd be on green screens. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
But I want to see Team That Guy Goes to Hell. I just like the title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him do anything, like any movie of any kind ever again. I'd love to see it.
Absolutely.
Do you think that would happen is the question. I was thinking.
He was asked that on a live stream recently, and I saw his answer was basically, my brain fog is so bad I can't put in that energy anymore.
Yeah, he's got, what do you call it, chronic fatigue syndrome.
Yeah,
he's got he had mono, and he can't, like.
Did you see recently when he got like a big bout of that just on a live stream and he just freezes mid-sentence? It's scary.
Oh, wow.
He's doing a Q&A and he's just like answering a question and then he just goes,
wow, really?
I'm not kidding. And he freezed. They had to cut the stream because he couldn't talk. It was scary. Yeah,
He had a Mitch McConnell moment.
Yeah, he's like mid-sentence. He just stops and that's it. He's just done. He's like, oh well, Doug's dealing with the fatigue. We got to end this stream, but we'll get to the questions that he didn't answer next time. Basically, yeah, that's what happened.
Doug's done for today. Come on,
yeah,
Doug.
exactly. That's what happened. I'm not even. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Whoa! I gotta see that.
It's okay, it's gonna go in here, obviously.
Maybe. So are they all kind of different stories, or are they all connected?
Some of them are kind of connected. I don't know if you will have had to have played 7 and 8 to understand 9, but they're not all totally connected. Like, you could pick up 7 without having played any other Resident Evil game. So I don't know. We'll think about 9. I'll have to see and hear if he has to really have played 7 and 8 to understand 9 before we really, do it there. So we'll see how it goes. You good, Doug? Maybe not. It's all right, folks. We'll give him a sec. We're all good.
Oh, Quentin, in his fucking little takedown video, he was giving Doug shit for the parodies not being. He's like, well, you're basically infringing copyright, Doug, by doing all these parodies. That's not fair use. You're just lifting directly from the movies themselves.
Literally, like parody protected. Literally, that's part of it.
Because out of all of my years of watching knockoff movies, I have never seen one fly so close to the source material. And it gets away with this by claiming that it's all a parody. But again, and I cannot emphasize this enough, I do not get the joke. It seems like the joke is supposed to be that the source material is being copied, as if that by itself is funny.
He hates him so much. Quentin hates this guy. And I'm like, do you know him personally or something? Like, why do you hate him so much? Yeah, I just think some of those guys, some of those weak fucking men, the Linkaras and the Quentins and stuff, I think that they just love a good bandwagon. Man, they'll jump on that bandwagon.
What's really funny about Quentin's video is he does this whole spiel about how shitty this movie is and how like bad lore movies are. And then he's like, you know what? Actually, that sounds like fun. Let's make one. And then
it's like an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
And
at the end,
goes on and on and on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember that.
I really think we're lost.
I get that the joke is that it's bad, but like that doesn't make it funny.
Yeah, I tried to watch about 10 minutes of it, and I was like, all right, like you're not near. Sorry, like your jokes aren't as funny as Doug's.
Well, back to the drawing board. Quentin, you remember when you opened that tough drawer?
Why? You're gonna make me blush.
It falls flat when he's like, all right, I'm gonna make fun of it by making an even worse movie
Yeah,
than like
that-
anything Doug's ever made.
That doesn't really prove your point, dude.
Yeah, how do you best parody something like this? You could probably do it, but you'd have to make something that was almost equally funny because you can't. You have to give the comedy its due. We did a parody of Birdemic one time, and we just made Birdemic again. With macaroni and cheese. People always mention, they're like, oh, if you want to watch more content about these movies, the Almighty Lolly has like a bunch of videos about these. They're like 45 minutes each. Those are pretty good too. He does Atop the Fourth Wall. This concludes the trilogy, gentlemen. I wanted to get it in before the end of 2025. There's a long way to go. There's Atop the Fourth Wall. There's the RLM movies. I think you do Uncanny Valley. I think maybe you could do a little encore of Pop Quiz Hot Shot, Demo Reel, and The Review Must Go On. The Review Must Go On really does feel like a sequel to Boldly Flee, wouldn't you say? Like a much better one. It's 30 minutes.
Yeah, the little plot hole comes back and everything, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much like you almost have to do it.
That one sounds like, yeah, I mean, I almost felt like, I almost thought maybe I should just tack it on to Boldly Flee. And my wife said, I'm not doing this anymore. And I said, okay.
You gotta rest. You have to rest. You don't have to run the whole marathon all at once.
Well, chronologically, you got to watch Demo Reel because that's the finale to Demo Reel. It's like Boldly Flee happens, then Demo Reel happens, then The Review Must Go On happens.
Yeah, admittedly, I've seen The Review Must Go On. I've not seen Demo Reel and Pop Quiz Hot Shot.
Man, there's some low lows and some high highs hidden in there.
Let's delve into this a little further by examining the works of Friedrich Nietzsche.
Wait a minute. Why am I chit-chatting with you? You kidnapped two people.
Is there anything good in Demo? Look, at this point, everybody's told me all of this is garbage, and I've found a lot of things that aren't garbage. So maybe there's something there in Demo Reel.
I think there's some interesting stuff in Demo Reel, but the first episode is by far the worst one. So everybody caught a whiff of that. Like, that's where the supervillain shuffle is. And then I think they just kind of stayed away. And there's not that many episodes. There's like 10, I think.
I am Dr. Crane, totally insane, and I only have a few lines in the movie, so next.
Well, this was fun. Pick up To Boldly Flee on DVD for $19.
Yeah.
Maybe
Rob
12.
Walker will stuff it into a mailer. You can smell Rob Walker. He's on there.
Delicious.
Hey guys, would you like to pre-order the DVD of To Boldly Flee? Of course you would!
What are you going to get? Look, first of all, you're going to get 2 discs. You're going to get 2 discs.
Didn't somebody wrote something to you on
Yeah,
there?
I got a receipt from the Channel Awesome store, and I got somebody wrote thank you for your support on the note.
Nice.
I don't know who, but somebody did. And what else is in here? There's I got this It Chapter 2 bookmark. What the hell is this? To Boldly Flee. Oh, like a cool little comic panel to Boldly Flee. I'm a super fan. So I'm all in. Bloopers, deleted scenes, behind the scenes featurette, an extra ending. I didn't watch the extra ending. What do you mean an extra ending?
What?
Oh,
Is
no.
there? Oh, that's cool. I wonder what it is.
Commentaries by Doug and Rob. Bum review of To Boldly Flee, so you can check that out if you need more. 2 To Boldly Flee music videos.
Keep your focus looking at me tonight.
Zod 80s music video. Geez, they just kept shooting. They just kept the cameras rolling. A video called What the Hell's a Bothin'? I got lots of stuff to watch.
Holy
The
crap, you
Walmart
do.
story. Yeah, this is going to be fun. Comic influences, slideshow, Nostalgia Critic Remembered. So there's a Nostalgia Critic retrospective on this.
Oh, because he died.
I want to see that. Please rip this. I couldn't easily find the DVD version because that's the one I wanted to watch because I knew it had 3 extra minutes.
Let's just plug the channels real quick. Scotty, what are you working on right now?
Oh, I'm working on a bunch of stuff. More pop culture stuff. Social trending stuff that I just have to react to.
I love it. I love Labubu. My kid loved your Labubu video. My wife knows more about all the different places you've lived in your life than I do because she pretty much like mainlined all the lifestyle content. Since Remembers. And yeah, I'm loving, I love the Goosebumps haunted house video. I thought it was fantastic. I think everything, like every time you upload, I'm a happy camper. Bill Burr.
Nice. Oh yeah. I'm doing more of that stuff too. I'm doing another Goosebumps as well. So that'll be fun. I'm glad you guys like that. My Halloween one from last year, had a nice bump this year. That was nice.
I saw that, the
Didn't
90s
expect-
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every like Thanksgiving, my turkey fryer video like gets bumped. Seasonal stuff is evergreen, you know. It's like,
I put up a YouTube short about the kind of Gen Z Count Chocula cereal, whatever she was, the Franken girl. It's just like 2 seconds from a box mac, and that kind of, it didn't blow up, but it got a noticeable bump from Halloween. Jason, what do you have? What's happening at the Jason Graves channel and at Waiting for Nintendo?
Who knows? I mean, I think if you're watching this, you're either already in or you're already out on me. So I don't need the plug. I'm fine. I don't know. I'm working on the big CDI thing. I got another video that's going to come out in a couple days, so it's not even worth talking about because it'll be long in the past by the time we see this.
True.
So,
Fair enough.
So, yeah. Who knows?
That's another Jason Graves marketing moment. Don't watch. Never watch. Unsubscribe. All right, guys. Have a good night.
Just keep putting stuff out there and see what sticks.
And I know nothing's gonna stand in my way. No matter what the people may say, don't turn around and keep looking straight. And I see that everybody's starting to yell how the world around you's going to hell. I'm here to tell you all it's just a distraction, a pure satisfaction. Keep your eyes on me, for we are gonna see them. Really find the height of attraction. I'm a distraction, and I'm ready for action. So the world's gonna blow, stop complaining and go to the show.
All right, guys, I'm going to put up a BRB screen here really fast, and we will be back with you.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.